Just in case you are wondering what's going on here, a bandit is granting press briefing. Somebody saw a beer of bad news, but I reject it. Unfortunately, it's the country I find myself that the news wake up aside I go tell that a bandit is granting press briefing. When you lie down on your bed today, you spread broadcast, your breast go this side, go that side, you want sleep. Think and remember I'm again. Say Mama P say a bandit is granting press briefing. Do you know what that means? He get the power to organize TV station, set camera, put ammunition for neck. They warn your military, they warn your government. Say me they no come close to a camp. He don't release like 40 people now. He be like saying catch 40 foul. You know from the one way thief, so you take back. I go see some no come near my camp. If not, see ammunition for my neck. A bandit is granting press briefing. Jesus! Somebody type blood of Jesus. That is where we have found ourselves as a country. So as you go to bed tonight, remember that your safety is yours and the Lord only. Government cannot save you, NAPTIM cannot save you, police cannot save you, army cannot save you, nobody can save you. As long as you're in Nigeria, you are on your own. A bandit is granting press briefing. The other day, a bandit was doing meeting with government. Military was sitting down.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, of course, depending from where you're hearing my voice from. I'm hoping that you guys are superbly okay and you are doing great. My fellow Biafrans, how are you doing? I hope life is treating you well and good and kindly. I hope equally that you're wishing the Biafra, redeclared Biafra, United States of Biafra, a good time and, success galore. I hope you're praying for our able Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. I hope, of course, you're wishing our Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is still undergoing, trial and mistrial, especially during this time of health challenges. Because, of course, his health is deteriorating on a daily basis. And, of course, we are all aware that there's a deliberate attempt by the government to look the other side while the gentleman suffers untold medical hazards. I mean, by the time your livers are bad, by the time your pancreas are not, secreting well, of course, you are in trouble. You are in trouble. And that is what is happening to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our beloved leader. Unfortunately, the government has turned the other side. Unfortunately, even his matters at the court of Justice James Omotosho has continued to be postponed and repostponed. I don't know what the intentions of the government is. I don't know what the Jagaban intends to do with him. But of course, a lot of matters are arising from this neglect of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's health. Either locally or internationally, a lot of people have been talking. A lot of people have been warning, giving severe warnings of consequences, dire consequences, if anything happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the DSS dungeon, especially because issues concerning his health have become a very open announcement. It has become glaring to everybody now that, of course, he's been deliberately, prepared for the kill. Yes, it seems that the deliberate plot to, if they cannot assassinate him, if they cannot poison him to death, of course, they want to see if his health challenges can deteriorate to a point where they will declare he died from natural circumstances. But that's not his portion, and we hope it won't be his portion. Because as a lot of people have noted, and a lot of people have prophesied, and a lot of people have warned, there will be dire consequences. Dire consequences if anything happens to the health and life of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, we are still watching the Finnish authorities. Yes, and we are still on top of the appeal concerning our own Simon Ekpa. Of course, we know Finnish authorities and their, trial was biased, was premeditated, and was very much influenced by the Jagaban and his cohorts. We saw all the frequent movements of the Nigerian Foreign Affairs officers, including Yusuf Tuga, including, of course, the Minister for State for Foreign Affairs, our own Bianca Dumegu Ojukwu. We saw how they were hobnobbing with your Finnish foreign affairs officers, including himself, the Alexander Stubb, the Finnish president. We saw what the vice president of Nigeria, Ladi Shetima, how he went to the United Nations and later garnered a private relationship, a private discussion with Alex Stubb, all in the bid to make sure Simon Ekpa was convicted at all costs. Yes, we've seen how it is, and the appeals are ongoing with international lawyers of repute, freedom fighters, and men of goodwill fighting for Simon Ekpa. And we know it's just a matter of time, just a matter of time. This shenanigan judgment, this, suspect judgment, this influence judgment in Finland will be exposed, and all the parties involved will be brought to book. Yes, that is what is going to happen, because Finland is not Nigeria. This is not where you buy justice. Nigeria, of course, we know for you to get justice in Nigeria, you have to be the highest bidder. The highest bidder gets it, gets favorable judgment, while the poor person, the man who doesn't have the money, is left to suffer in agony, suffer in poverty, and suffer, in perpetual misery and agony. That is what happens in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, the audio for this morning is not about Simon Ekpa. It's not about all the attempts to frustrate and anyhow annihilate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. No, the audio this morning is what has been happening now all over the north. When we tell you how terrorists and bandits, the Boko Haram, the Lakarewas, the Fulani bandits, bandits who claim they are cattle rearers, when they are caught after they have destroyed cities, after they have killed and maimed, after they have bombed, after they have kidnapped, after they have abducted people, when they are caught, of course, the government always rehabilitates them. The government always gives them a soft landing. And we have observed in Biafra Superstars Media, day by day, we have been telling you that this is the ongoing response. Every time the Fulani jihadist, causes mayhem, destroys cities, destroys farmlands, kill and delete people, of course, when they are arrested, of course, they are given a soft landing. The next thing you know, they are rehabilitated. The next thing, they are integrated into the Nigerian system, either as police officers, either as security operatives, or in the Nigerian army. Of course, the Nigerian government will tell you, we have discussed with them, we have rehabilitated them, and of course, they have changed. They have recanted from being terrorists. They are patriotic Nigerians now. So they are given a chance. They know how to use the AK-47. They know how to assemble and disassemble bombs. They know how to, go through the difficult terrain of the forest and the deserts. And so we need them in the army to help us. But of course, we have seen what happens. Every time these people are integrated into the Nigerian army, and any other time the army decides to go after Boko Haram, to go after Fulani jihadis, to go after terrorists like Arawas. Every time the army decides to grow in its convoy, in its battalion, of course, these same people, as soon as they encounter their lost brothers, of course, when they see their former leaders, when they see their former comrades in terrorism, they turn and immediately turn their backs and begin to attack the Nigerian army. That is why at every time, Nigerian army has prepared secret plans to destroy and to chase these terrorists. Every other time they have met their Waterloo, because of course within their camp are terrorists, bandits, Boko Haram, Lakarawa, Fulani jihadis who have been reintegrated, who have been rehabilitated, and who have been co-opted into the Nigerian army. So it has always been a case of, robbing Peter to pay Paul. It had always boomeranged. It has always been a whopping, solid shame for Nigerian army. Destruction of lives and properties, destruction of killing of soldiers trained with hard-earned money. Many years of training, of course, and of course, they often bombard full military cantonments, full barracks, and carry munitions, burn down barracks, burn down battalions. It's just very unfortunate, ladies and gentlemen. This is what is happening on a daily basis. So for today, we want to bring to your notice how the terrorists and bandits giving government support are on rampage now. They seem to be on rampage, ladies and gentlemen, because of course they know they are government picking. Pardon my language, quote and unquote. They have seen that they are government picking and they can do and undo. And the worst thing that can happen to them is, of course, when they are arrested, when they are captured, they are treated well, given good food, given good clothes, rehabilitated, and once again reintegrated and called, great guys. Great guys because, of course, they know the terrain of the desert. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do a fast check. There are several incidents of terrorists killing traditional rulers in Nigeria, especially these so-called terrorists that have been given a soft landing, that have been claimed, to become parts and parcel of the Nigerian army. Ladies and gentlemen, a Sokoto traditional ruler, Alhaji Isa Muhammad Bawa, the Shakin Gabia of Gatawa district in Sokoto state, was brutally killed by bandits after being abducted, tortured, and dehumanized. The bandits released a video showing the leader pleading for his life and appealing to the government for help. They demanded a 1 billion ransom, but ultimately killed him. This was the same terrorists in Sokoto state that were arrested, and of course, they were pandered. The government said they have shown remorse, they have recanted, and they have shown that they are sorry. Therefore, they are pardoned, given uniforms, and reintegrated into the army. But unfortunately, less than 2 days later, they arrested Alhaji Samuel. They kidnapped Alhaji Sam Mohammed Bawa, the Sakim Dogoba of Gatawa. And of course, everything is history. In Zamfara State, a traditional ruler, Umaru Bawan Allah, a traditional ruler in Zamfara State, was killed by terrorists along with 3 others in a midnight attack on the Gada community. The attackers stormed the community, killing, maiming, and raping women at will. These were the same attackers less than 2 weeks ago that had been reintegrated, had been rehabilitated, and of course, given Nigerian uniforms. They have shown, of course, that where you go, no matter where you take, no matter if you take a pig to London, it remains a pig. Even if you cast pearl and gold on swines, it will trample them and will not appreciate them. So, of course, the Nigerian government giving these people a reintegration, giving them what they call and a general amnesty, is actually fooling themselves. That is the situation, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. In Taraba State, Abdul Muttalib Nuhu, a third-class chief in Taraba State, was murdered by unknown gunmen at his residence in Sensani village. The gunmen killed him just hours before the hosting of the Monyo Fishing and Cultural Festival. These incidents highlight the growing insecurity in Nigeria, particularly in the northwest and north central regions, where terrorists and bandits have been wreaking havoc on local communities. Of course, the most painful aspect of it is that this Boko Haram terrorists have been carrying out attacks on military bases and personnel in northern Nigeria, particularly in Borno State. Of course, these are the same people who are given soft landing, who are, said to have shown remorse, who have recanted, and of course, they are now rehabilitated into the Nigerian armed forces. And like I said, they continue to bring a lot of betrayal. Of course, they continue to, leak informations of military espionage and attacks or counterattacks, and of course, they are always loyal when they meet their brothers, kith and kin terrorists, and Boko Haram bandits. Ladies and gentlemen, there was an attack on military base in Mate, yes. Boko Haram terrorists attacked the forward operation base of the 153 Task Force Battalion in Borno State, killing an unspecified number of soldiers, capturing some and causing others to desert. The terrorists also burned down armored tanks and made away with arms and ammunition. This was in Mate. Ladies and gentlemen, the story is ongoing. It's all over the place. It's multiple. There was an attack on Yantake community. Suspected Boko Haram militants launched a deadly attack on the Yantake community in Goza, local government area, Borno State, killing 2 soldiers and unknown number of civilians. There was twin attacks in Borno. Boko Haram Terrorists killed a dozen soldiers in twin attacks in Borno State, with the Cameroonian Ministry of Defense confirming the death of at least 53 soldiers of the multinational joint task force of the Lake Chad Basin. Ladies and gentlemen, recent statistics show that in the first quarter of 2025, Boko Haram carried out over 397 attacks in Borno State, killing 514 people and abducting 357 others. The Nigerian military has confirmed these attacks, but reassured citizens of its capacity to subdue the terrorists. Boko Haram's tactics have evolved, with the group leveraging digital tools, kidnapping for ransom, and extorting locals, posing a renewed threat to national security. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a brief synopsis of what has been happening. These are the same people, the same renegades, the same terrorists, the same bandits that the Nigerian government will capture. When they capture them, they will detain them for a little while, feeding them, giving them all kinds of treatment for those who are wounded. They are resuscitated, they are revived, and of course, finally we will hear that they have become remorseful. They have recanted no longer to be terrorists. Now they are integrated into the Nigerian armed forces. Show the secrets of the Nigerian forces, show where the ammunitions are, show where everything is, the bomb, where they keep the bombs, the arsenals, everything about the Nigerian forces. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, after a few days, these same people will creep out secretly, tell their comrades, former comrades, the terrorists, what and where these things are. Of course, while the Nigerian soldiers are napping, while they are sleeping, while they are interested in other things, these people come overnight and raid and bombard and delete, murder, rape, kill, abduct, and destroy these military bases, these military cantonments. This has been a gory sale and ever-recurring decimal in every situation where these bandits, these terrorists have continued to enjoy government support, government pardon, government freedom, government reintegration into the army. Government declared amnesty against Fulani jihadists, against the Lakarawas, against Boko Haram, against the Meta Alap group, against all the bandits from the north. Ladies and gentlemen, when you watch what happens in the north and you come down to the south and see the way manner, innocent people, freedom fighters, people who dare to say enough is enough, people who say there should be a referendum in this country, that since the amalgamation of this country in 1914, that this is over 100 plus years, there should be a referendum, because it's obvious and apparent that the different groups have not fully integrated. The different groups have not fully assimilated each other. There are still cultural diversions. There are still religious differences. There are political differences. And of course, there are marginalizations. Of course, a lot of people are being subjugated, especially the Igbo group, the Biafran group. And when people dare to say enough is enough, let's have a referendum. Let's decide if we want to go on. Let's decide if we want to carry on as one contraption. That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. And since then, he was renditioned, abducted, if you like, from Kenya, and has been back to back for the 5 years in the DSS dungeon in Nigeria. Every time there's a trial, every time there's a mistrial, every time charges are dropped, because of course he's not guilty, other times there are appeals. And today, the gentleman has been under Nigerian custody now, different trial and mistrials for close to almost 15 years. His health has deteriorated. Nobody cares. Nobody listens. He has applied to be taken to Abuja, the National Hospital of Abuja, for better medical check. Nobody cares. Nigeria is looking the other side. But when it comes to things concerning Boko Haram jihadists, when it comes to these bandits who maim, who kill, who rape, who abduct and kidnap, who has caused ferocious damage, very, very ferocious damage to the Nigerian system, Nigerian military, casualties, killing soldiers trained with hard-earned money, soldiers who had gone through all manners of military training in different parts of the world, with hard-earned currency. When they come here, they are butchered like ordinary cattle. They are killed like chicken. Of course, Yes, they are killed and butchered simply because the government trusted that the bandits, the terrorists, the Boko Haram people, they have rehabilitated, they have reintegrated, they trusted so much in them that they have taken the Quran. They have sworn in the name of the Quran, I will never go back to banditry. I will never go back to terrorism. I will serve Nigeria with all my strength. I pledge to Nigeria. I pledge to Nigeria. This is what they claim. And they are integrated, giving money, settled, granted general amnesty, and reintegrated into the Nigerian army. And of course, just a few days later, they come out and do the highest havoc possible. This time, they are fighting. They have become enemies within. They are fighting deep from inside. And the government does nothing about it, does not care about it. All the government cares about is how to deal with people from the Southeast, deal with peaceful freedom protesters who are saying, enough is enough. If you don't want my people, let them go. Let them go. Because of this peaceful protest, they went all the way to Finland, bribed their way into Finland, manipulated Finnish authorities just to convict Simon Ekpa, get him convicted and sent to jail. Now that the young man has been convicted and given 6 years imprisonment, Nigerian government is celebrating, have been popping champagne, and they have been calling on Finnish authorities, please, as soon as he's done with 6 years, once he's done with these 6 years, bring him to us. Bring him to us. Extradite him here. Bring him here. Let us finish him. This time he will serve ×5 of that, the number of years he spent in Finland. You can imagine how wicked. You can imagine such insensitivity. You can imagine the level of hatred, pathological hatred for the Biafrans. When it comes to Fulani terrorists, when it comes to Boko Haram, when it comes to the Fulani jihadists, of course, the tables change. Everything changes to their favor. Ladies and gentlemen, enough is enough. Enough is enough. The story was told that went viral yesterday, how some terrorist group that were arrested, and of course, they said, of course, we are sorry, we're no longer going to do this. Of course, they came out, and just 2 days later, they have gone to a certain village and wiped out over 400 people. Carted away man, woman, and children. Killed the chiefs and the emirs that were there, and then burnt the whole place aground. These are people who have been granted freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not seeing what is happening, if you're not clear with what is happening, I don't know how else we'll tell you. Of course, this is a country with 2 different laws, one for the Boko Haram people, one for the Fulani jihadists, and another for the, peaceful people of the Southeast. It's very, very unfortunate. There's a viral video going all over Nigeria now, all over the world, where a terrorist group, the terrorist leader, and these people have, called a press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, can you beat that? There has been a press conference. A terrorist leader calls press conference, and he and all his men, the commanders are all wearing their ammunitions, carrying live ammunitions, carrying bomb grenades in their hands. They are AK-47s and all manners of weapons. And they garnered a press conference. And they're addressing the people. The TV is there. The computers are there. All manners of channels of televisions are there. And they are telling the whole world, we have kidnapped over this number of people. We are releasing 40. Yes, out of several people who were kidnapped, we are going to release 40 to you. We are telling you, don't do anything strange. Don't think you're a Superman. Anything you do will increase the bombardment. And of course, the escalation of the attack will be even worse. We'll ground the whole state. We are telling you here, in the full glare of your media, the full glare of your national media, we have TV houses here. They're showing us. We are seeing you live and direct. Here we are. If you make any moves, we'll bombard the entire state. Ladies and gentlemen, you can imagine the audacity. You can imagine the ferocity. You can imagine the level of comfort and confidence that these terrorists have had. Because, of course, they know with the government at the center, they are treated with kid gloves. They know they'll be rehabilitated. The worst scenario is get captured, rehabilitated, reintegrated, and granted general amnesty. That is a food for thought. And I'm happy the whole world is seeing the video. I'm happy the whole world, is aware of what is happening at this rat race country, at this zoo called Niger. Every time anything concerns Biafra or Biafran apologists, of course, they are treated with the highest level of wickedness. They are treated with the highest level of insensitivity. They are treated with the highest military and paramilitary structures, and even the law courts structures available. And they are made to pay dearly for their lives. Not the same for the North. Not the same for the terrorists. Ladies and gentlemen, let us look through this. Let us see through this, and let us know and understand that the Biafrans, indeed, are an endangered species in this contraption called Nigeria. A lot of you don't understand when we say these things. A lot of you don't seem to agree when we say these things. But the truth has to be told. We are endangered species. Everything is done to annihilate, to delete, and to exterminate us. Everything is done to make things difficult, terribly difficult for us. Everything is done to frustrate our political ideas and our political ambitions. Everything is done to kill our businesses with multiple taxations, with no rail systems running from Umahia, running from the south down to any other part of the country. New rail runs are running from southwest down to the north, running from southwest down to anywhere, and even in the north central. Even the last PMB, last president, late PNB, constructed a rail line direct from the north down, down straight to Niger Republic. That's to tell you how wicked and how insensitive and how, the level of the pathological hatred against the Eagles, against the Biafrans. Ladies and gentlemen, a word is enough for the wise. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Let us be very careful. Let us completely understand that the only future we have is with the redeclared United States of Biafra. The only future we can ever have is if, and only if, Biafra succeeds as a sovereign national country. Let's peg it here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's call on our God, our Jehovah, to stand beside us. Thank you, and God bless. Bye-bye.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Logan, Bloomington, Lord Logan, and it's Wild Flora Show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation, ever since annihilation. Nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.